Back at Gamers Without Borders, only one more series here for the Korean bracket, and it is going to be Maru going up against herO. Our Protoss going to go extinct across the galaxy. herO, one man to stand against tyranny, is here to try and stop that from happening. We've got to my left-hand side, it's Ben, it's Mr. Wardy. And guys, I mean, so far so good. What a start to the day here. Now we move on to, Ben, what you were touting as maybe the fixture of the day, but hey, it's going to have to do something to kind of match up against that previous one.
I mean, after watching the last one, it's like, if anything even comes close, I'll be happy, you know? Like,
yeah.
It was that freaking good. But on paper, Maru versus herO, this is one that could be the finals of any tournament that we see from this point on. You know, if some of those Zergs don't have anything to say about it, because they're both just that damn good. Maru absolutely did not show up yesterday. Absolutely did not. I am abysmally disappointed with him. But I know he's had these kind of performances in the past against teammates and stuff, and I know Maru is more than capable of just bouncing back and looking as good as he ever has. And the fact that he's been so vocal about he's continuously being proven and all that, yeah, I hope we just see him on his A game.
Wardy looks deep in thought. What are we thinking for this matchup, Wardy?
Just you know, checking out the recent results and everything, and just seeing that, you know, every time these two play, it is usually kind of that mix and match, and you never quite know what to expect from them as well. And the last one they played was one I casted, and it was just an absolute banger. Just, you know, back and forth, super, you know, exciting games, you know, very aggressive stuff as well. Not any super long games, but just aggressive fun, like 10-minuters. herO won that one, Maru won the couple before, and I just thinking, like, man, when these two play, they really do give it their best, right? So really excited to see what they bring. Like, again, when the stakes are high, I've said this a lot this weekend, but this is a little qualifier, but really it's a big qualifier, right, to one of the biggest events we'll have this year. So just a lot on the line, and you can bet that neither of these two want to have to come back again next week and do it all over again. They just want to be done and dusted and qualified into Gamers 8.
Oh, definitely. I actually want to stick with you for a minute, Wardy, because, I mean, I made light of it earlier that there isn't much success for Protoss just yet here. And what do you attribute that to at the moment? It seems like herO usually, for the race at the moment, is kind of that one light in the darkness almost. But going up against Maru, that's not any easy feat by any stretch of the imagination.
I guess it's kind of rough when there's only two pros that show up, and well, one of them's already had to play Maru, and then Creative did fight against Dark.
Yeah.
herO obviously lost out to Gumiho in the upper bracket, and I mean, to be fair, do you feel like herO has had some, you know, shakier PvT lately? But that doesn't mean that his matchup style sort of just allows for that, right? Where sometimes he will be really, really good, and sometimes he'll just like, it won't look good, but like the ideas are still there. It's just his builds can be somewhat hit or miss. So I think that might be kind of a part of what we're seeing.
Fair. Anything to add, Ben, before we go to the game?
No, I'm just thoroughly looking forward to this one. Like, herO is always a guy that I think likes to show pros how it's been done, and this is the guy to do it against, isn't it, Maru? But overall, I've been struggling a little bit in my TVP, and you know, I want to beat Rotti. So looking to Maru for some pointers here.
I just play like Maru, yeah. Okay, we're back there, are we? Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Time now to head over to the commentary team here to bring you this one. It is the final spot for this bracket to move on towards Gamers 8, and then of course we have more brackets on the way. But let's head over to the commentators for Maru against herO.
The #1 Terran facing off against the #1 Protoss in a best-of-5 series. I mean, when it comes to Terran versus Protoss, doesn't get any better than this pick.
They almost always have such close series. It's so good because, like, I keep thinking surely one of them is just going to bop the other, like 3-0, 2-0, 4-0. It very rarely happens. Obviously, back in Atlanta late last year, we saw herO come out on top in a very close semi-final. And they had a few back and forths with Maru fighting back after that tournament. But recently, they did play in the grand finals of Wardy's tournament, the Korean Royale Season 1. And that was a very close series that went down to the 7th game. The Protoss player did end up coming out on top, so no doubt he's got a fire lit underneath him looking for revenge. Representing Onside Gaming in the bottom right side, it's Maru.
And up here in the top left of Dragon Skills, we have our Protoss player, herO. Yeah, that series you're bringing up, it was literally played last week, right? So I was just having a quick look at the statistics. Against basically anybody, Maru historically has been the overwhelming favorite, right? Now, he is the favorite against herO as well, but he's won apparently 55% of their encounters. And honestly, I think for basically anybody else out there, Maru's got like, you know, at least 70% win rate, right? But against herO, apparently only 55%. So really, this can go either way.
Yeah, and I would argue that when the stakes are biggest and the stage has been the biggest, herO does tend to have a bigger set of results in overseas Premier tournaments, I would say, especially. In Korea, in GSL, hard to match Maru's record there. We'll see which way it goes as Maru opens up with a double gas opening. He wants to tech up very quickly. And I tell you, he must be traumatized because the number of times hero's got him with proxy gate openings or 4-gate blink assaults is absolutely wild. And if he doesn't get you with one of those, then it's like a 45 probe zealot charge stalker attack timing when you move out to take your third. And herO is just so wildly aggressive. I think playing standard defensive play, herO doesn't look so fantastic, but when he's got the 4-gate blink and the different aggressive plays, it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption to make for this series as well. He'll probably be in the driver's seat for a lot of these games. Just opening up with a standard build so far, but he's definitely the type of Protoss who likes to be in your face, right? He'll try to make as much of an army as he can, blink it into the main base, and somehow, some way, micro better than anybody else out there, get more value out of his stalkers in particular. But neither of these players has... Maybe herO is not quite as good defensively as Maru, but honestly, neither of these players really has any particular weakness, so... Yeah, I'm excited for this one. We'll see what ends up going down. Quick double gas right here for Maru, by the way, opting for that quicker factory.
Yeah, he's been really enjoying this build a lot lately. I think for him, it feels like trying to reduce variance versus herO is something that he looks for. It is very conservative, though, and I think if you start getting a bit too predictable ever versus herO, even if it's in the attempt to kind of calm the game down, herO will switch gears from aggressive into very greedy. He'll hit you with the aggression later on off a better start, and therefore it'll hit harder and more powerfully than it normally does. So herO, the danger of him is not just, oh, he attacks well, it's he attacks well, but the moment it seems like it's the right time, he'll go greedier than any other Protoss is willing to. And he'll rely on the fact that you're afraid of him and you're sitting back and you're turtling up, you're sitting defensive to get away with it.
Maru checking quite literally every single... Oh, cute look right there. Got it off. But he's checked pretty much every location around the map, making 100% sure that he's not being cheesed with a cheeky little Stargate or something along those lines. In the end, a good cleanup right there, though. But, you know, Maru getting the Reaper in, already a little bit of confidence. So now he's going to fly the command center all the way down to the low grounds. I mean, honestly, all of the moves so far here for Maru, they're a clear indicator that he's a little bit afraid of early game shenanigans. Maybe that proxy gateway shenanigans that you were talking about, but none of that is happening in this game so far.
Cloak Banshee's hidden in the back for Maru, so going to be trying to sneak one past herO. It's a late robo always with this build. Thankfully for herO, he goes Observer first. If he went Warp Prism first and committed to a 4-gate blink attack, that would have been a problem. But we can see he's only on 2 gates. He's going up to the 3rd and 4th gas, and no doubt a Robo Bay will be next. So herO wants to get some really good map vision with the Observers. Actually, you know, sometimes he does go Twilight Forge here rather than, and like delays the Robo Bay. It always makes me a little uncomfortable when you've got a late 3rd and no splash damage, but he's just prioritizing vision right now, and the Observers are going to be great for that.
Yeah, and he's going to need that detection as well against, of course, the Cloaked Banshees. He doesn't know about it just yet, although he does know at this point that his opponent didn't expand super quickly. Gonna find out exactly what's going on, though, inside of the main base right here of our Terran player as he's looking around. He's trying to scout what's happening. Okay, well, there we go. You see the green light inside of that tech lab. That's all you really need.
It's going for a Templar Archives. herO was planning to go for that. Oh, the Observer's already tracking the Banshee back. And that's unfortunate for Maru, but Maru spotted it. Yeah, he saw the Observer. He knows he's being spotted. He saw the blur, and he's like, yep, let's not commit to that. Let's send that Banshee home. There's no 3rd base for herO. So as Maru, I don't think you're in a bad position. As long as you just kind of play calm, don't throw these units away, there's still a threat that herO has to respect.
Yeah, are we still just on 2 gateways here in total? Okay, yeah, he's finishing up 2 more right now. He's going to need that sort of warp in as well if he wants to sustain his economy, I guess, because he's got more than enough income to do more than just 2 gateways worth of production. He's gonna go straight into the storm here. Okay. So how do you feel about this, Mr. Pig?
I love Quick Storm. I think this is a really good style. It's great for ambushing your opponent as long as they don't know it's coming. And what have you seen as Maru? Observers, multiple. And you haven't got in with anything else. So, of course, you're expecting Colossus. No third base, observers, you've got to be going quick Colossus. Cool, no worries. I'm going to go double upgrades. I've got a third command center. I'm playing a big macro play anyway. That's all good. I mean, the thing is, when you move out to take your third, you've got to be nervous because there could be a storm drop comboed with charge zealots, and that swarming over your third base can just have a devastating impact. I think the bad thing for herO is the fact that this is not a 2-base push. So he's going for a lot of splash damage tech really early, and he's going to have to try and do a storm drop on the SCVs because there's no army for him to really defend with this tech.
Yeah, exactly. So now the Banshees do also go in, though, and they are actually coming in at a bit of a weird timing. He decided to move them back. I really like that decision. In the end, it's quite a few workers going down. If he gets both of the Banshees... Oh my god, okay. Now he should at the very least be able to shut down this aggression for now. 6 probes is definitely not bad, but yeah, you're definitely right. You need to get something done with those High Templar right now as well, right? You've invested all those resources into getting the Templar out. They're nice to have, but preferably you deal some damage with them as well, either to an army or to, for example, a mineral line. There's the Ghost Academy coming up.
Yeah, the Immortal count keeps growing as well. So this is interesting. It feels like the Robo-Bait tech is just nowhere on the horizon. And I think herO just looking for a very powerful mid-game army. I don't know if I like the commitment to so many sentries, though, up against a player that's already going to be going into Ghosts. I think Maru's decided just turtle. Like, it's herO, man. He's going to try and come at me, keep my tanks on the high ground, move my third command center out very slowly. Just be really cautious and don't expose myself to any risk. I think he's got to keep the tanks in the natural or on the high ground, though. I don't know if he can really move his whole army out to the third, because I expect herO to attack with +1, and he should as well. He's seeing no gases on the third. Maru should expect an incoming attack any moment now.
A little surprised with how passive herO has been. Okay, I think it's almost like bait. As soon as the scan wears off, he decides to move the entire army. I was going to say, I'm a little surprised he's been moving that War Prism so, well, passively, right? At least for herO's sake. He always likes to send that to the opponent's side of the map. Now the third CC is landed, though. There's also a bio army stimming up towards the high ground. There's those sentries you were talking about, but they have some good force fields.
Great reaction there by Maru. Oh, good interference matrix, but he gets the feedback off. 1 High Templar. Trading for that is totally fine. Stalkers will deal with the Banshee in the main base. The shield battery there, of course, defending that. But herO needs damage. He hasn't found it just yet. The ghosts are here. Maru is pre-spread, and look at that. Lifting up the base is such a good way to do it. The SCVs are pulled. Watch out for the side storms coming on in from that War Prism. Nice EMP landing, though. Does take out one of those Zealots come in from the left as well. But it looks like this is mostly defended. No, there's still more Immortals, and Archons coming in from the back. 2 of those Immortals very low. Maru snipes them and tries to get on out. He's still got 2 tanks in the natural. Wise there. He kept the insurance in the back line. The Stalkers blink across. A bit of a YOLO here for herO. The Immortal drops on top, gets one of the siege tanks, but it comes at a heavy cost. herO got way too excited. He went way too deep. He should not have kept going. And we see, similar to his series against Gumio in the upper bracket, herO's biggest weakness is his over-eagerness, his overconfidence. It's going too deep.
Yeah, that's the Protoss dream right there. Juggling everything, then somehow, some way, microing your way in the natural as well with the Prism. But that was certainly an overextension right there by the Protoss. That being
he's going to lose the Prism?
Oh, no, he should not be losing the Prism here. Okay. Yeah, that being said, though, he did deal quite a bit of economic damage. His 4th Nexus is coming up on the back of this, too. He's, of course, still going to have Templar available to defend an imminent counterattack, but now it's going to be Maru who gets to decide the pace of this game. Okay, good first storm, though. Killing the Raven that was already softened up earlier, and a lot of those Widow Mines.
Oh, the High Templar way too far forward, though. Big mistake there for herO, copping some big EMPs, and yes, he takes out the Widow Mines, but at what cost? He's trying to warp in Zealots as a flanking force. The Marines shut down the War Prism before that completes, and herO went for a ballsy maneuver. It's not good enough, though, and Maru shuts it down in game 1.
Yep, a little bit over-eager right there. You already mentioned it, right? That's one of herO's tendencies. He likes to get in the opponent's face and, well, hopefully obtain the victory with his very first attack. But this is Maru you're playing against. I actually really like the way you position those 2 tanks in the natural. placing them down in such a location, almost as if he knew that herO would likely get a little bit greedy, sacrificing some of the SCVs, but yeah, he ended up, well, killing basically the entire Protoss army.
I would have liked to see herO try and sell a story a little bit more leading into this by taking gases on the third and just making it look like he was doing something. But this was, he could have just pulled back and denied the third. He'd killed 17 workers. It was such a good position for herO. There was no need for him to continue into the natural. The moment he saw those tanks firing, like he absolutely should have pulled back. And I mean, I love that Maru kept tanks in reserve a little bit. But the fact that he decided to fight with his SCVs on his third doesn't mesh with that. So I think there's something which is a little bit interesting with Maru's decision-making, because he was kind of half committed to his natural, but half committed to his third. And if herO does pull back there, I think it's a big mistake not either bringing the siege tanks out to the front or just lifting the base, pulling back with everything, and then biding your time. Maru left him an opening. herO unfortunately decided to take that opening and then tried to take an extra 50 yards and ended up headbutting himself to oblivion. I think herO is just going to have to be a little bit more clinical in the next games.
Okay, so here we go. Game number 2 in this best of 5 series. We find ourselves on altitude, and winning game number 1 right here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Maru.
Finding his way into the biggest map in the map pool. It should be decent for him. Let's see what style he plays. It's herO.
Now, you bring up a very good point, though. In that previous game, we did see all of the SCVs fighting while the siege tanks weren't really participating in that battle, right? So, yeah, maybe the better move is bringing the siege tanks towards the front or running all of the SCVs towards the natural expansion there so you don't really end up losing them. In the end, though, it ended up working out very well right there for Maru, but mostly because herO decided to get a little bit too aggressive. He didn't really need to go that far.
Indeed. Overcommitment cost him it. Now, interestingly, game 1 of their series in the Warty TV Korean Royale was actually on this map, and herO got way ahead on it and ended up losing that game to an overcommitment as well. So it's kind of definitely a repeating pattern in their series. He doesn't like letting Maru get away. I mean, I love the killer instinct of herO, but you know, it's easy to criticize when it doesn't work out from the sidelines. It's hard to actually commit to that as much as he does. Now, he's gone for the double gas build order, so it will be the famous proxy oracle that herO loves so much. And it's just something you don't really expect, because, well, if they scout with a probe this early, you know the probe's here. They can't be proxying you. But no. herO, much like SOS before him, is like, I'm going to send a second worker out to do a proxy. It's a huge commitment, but it's looking to trick the Terran player. And let's see if Maru takes the bait. Maru's not building off his barracks. He's going quick factory. That's really bad for him. Yep. Quick factory is the weakest against this usually, because if you go straight for Cyclone, it can work out, but one Widow Mine usually isn't going to cover you. So the big skip on production to get the early factory means you don't have many Marines, which means the Adepts coming across the map are going to be hard to deal with. And then just when you think you've dealt with them, an Oracle's going to fly into your main base. So a good start here for herO.
Yeah, and the quick factory wasn't even really that quick. He started that one like 40 gas later than he could have. So this is definitely going to hinder the production right here for Maru quite a bit. He has no idea about the proxy Stargate that is actually really close to his main base. That's going to allow that Oracle to show up like 20 seconds earlier or so at least than it normally would. And, well, it's, yeah, look at the proximity right there to the main base. Maru is thinking he's playing a very safe opener here. I mean, now he starts bumping out those Marines 2 at a time. But in the end, this is actually rather risky with now the Adepts showing up here at the front as well. How much damage?
Interestingly, only one Adept. No second Adept is kind of curious. He's just going probes, warp gate behind it. A little bit different, but I guess herO wanted to delay that pylon and focus more on his Nexus and economy behind it. So the Adept here just dancing. 3 Marines are out. The Widow Mine actually guarding the main mineral line and hiding behind the satellite dish. So very hard to spot that visually. Does he dive on the Marines? He's going for the Marines. Very nice move here for herO. He's going to take out 1, but the extra 2. Oh, with the Oracle!
Yeah, that's exactly what Maru was hoping for. Maybe this could have done a lot of damage if herO decided to commit a little bit more by going for example, a second Adept as well at the front, but that was an excellent cleanup, exactly what Maru was hoping for. And right now he finds himself in a really good spot, although there's more aggression coming out of the Stargate. Second Oracle right now flying in. He needs to be very careful. That Widow Mine is ready to fire again. For a second he was going to fly that Oracle into the exact same spot as his partner died, but Okay, now he's going to be able to soften up or kill a couple of those SCVs that were softened up already. But only 2 workers so far for this proxy. That is not worth it whatsoever.
herO has absolutely no chill. The Oracle there, yeah, definitely was dancing with death. Adept's going to go down. He's denying mining, but he's not getting many actual kills, and that is a big issue. Blink is now on the way and going up to, I think, 3 or 4 gateways behind this. He's even building a gateway next to his Stargate at the proxy, so he's looking to commit super hard here. The Oracle needs to stay alive because that's the only way to spot the high ground, allowing him to blink in the main. Now, a siege tank is already popping out. That first tank needs to survive, and Maru's not building a second tank because he's supply blocked.
Yeah, he just finished up a supply depot, so at the very least he's going to be able to get to that production right now. Luckily for herO, he does keep that Cyclone around. Taking any damage on that makes this really rough, but you're definitely right. herO is planning on winning this game in the next few minutes by just constantly being in the opponent's face. Warping in Stalkers as close to this battle as possible. If this medevac goes down with the siege tank inside of it, though, the Cyclone inside of it, that would be an absolute disaster.
Oracle does get sniped there. He gets a tank in the Cyclone, but good micro overall by Maru. He maintains control of the high ground. And it's hard for him. He's going to have to try and use the Adept Shade to maybe get high ground vision. Yeah. There's already a Widow Mine over there. That Widow Mine could get a killer shot.
Okay, is he going to blink into this Terran army? I don't think he will. He even commits with the Adept, which is another mistake right there. Essentially giving that unit away for free. He's going to be able to scout roughly what's going on there, but you have to make the decision. Do you want to blink into it? So now Blink has finished up. He's going to go for a Phoenix instead to maybe lift up the tank and to provide some high ground vision. But this is slowing down this attack a lot, and it's just going to allow Maru just way more production. There's the second siege tank.
It was basically an all-in. He was on 31 probes. Like, he cut workers at less than 2 base saturation. You know, the fact that it got held as well as it did, Maru has just read this game perfectly start to finish. He knew exactly what herO was going to be doing. He's played such a safe opening, sitting with the command center on the high ground, made it so he couldn't get any damage early, not giving a single opportunity towards the herO, who is so focused on aggression. And whilst it does often give problems to Maru, when Maru is just turtling up like this, you're going to have to change gears. You're going to have to switch your focus. Oh, I love that Phoenix lift to save the Stalkers. That's so cute.
That would have been 3 additional Stalkers, I think, going down, because he definitely would have targeted the low HP ones right there. He would have gotten at least a shot off, and many of them were 1 hit away from dying. So that was really cute right there for herO. Making the best of a really tricky scenario, he decides to plant down the 3rd Nexus. But you already mentioned it. He's hoping right now, man, that his opponent allows him to sneak in. But you already mentioned it. He cut workers super quick. He's gone back to pro production right now, but he's giving up all of that aggression at the front. So that means that Maru is now the one who, well, will likely go for an attack next. Maybe we'll see some of those Protoss units still going around the map to try and deal some damage, but Maru is ready to go for an attack. I mean, he's got the stim pack, he's got the combat shields, he got the +1 infantry weapons all coming up. That is the classic Terran timing attack, and he's going to finish it all around the same time.
Trying to fight against that beautiful army with all those upgrades you were talking about, with just unupgraded zealots, you know, even charge. It's something, but it's like, hey, we've got shoes. Yeah, they have power armor and literally magnetic powered rifles. Can we get something? No, you got shoes and little stabby blades. Like, it's not a high-tech army. It relies on you having the numbers normally, and herO is not going to have those numbers. So what does herO do when he's behind? Yeah, he'll try to base trade, I believe.
Yeah, I don't see how this engagement is going to go well for him at all. Yeah, maybe he'll try and go for a base trade. Maybe that's going to work out, but there's a little some damage.
Yeah, normally the move herO goes for when he's behind, he's like, you know, wait outside the base, let the Terran get maybe halfway across the map, and your whole army's waiting in like his 4th base, and then you run in and you dive and you start trying to snipe things down. But he's actually now probing up and making a Templar archive, so I think he's kind of read that Maru's ready for that move. And he feels like, oh gosh, I got to try to get to like either Storm or Archons. That Phoenix, you'd think it would counter the Liberator, but it's already so damaged that the Liberator's going to win that fight.
Yeah. Both players not entirely sure about the engagement. Ah, this is cheating, herO. Bringing the Stalkers into their fight. Okay, well, fine. This is gonna give Maru, though, the opportunity to pull all of the boys as he is ready to bring the SCVs to watch the other side of the map. A very aggressive decision right here for Maru, but I do believe it's the correct one because this is just such a powerful army. There's no splash damage here with this Protoss force whatsoever. Okay, good couple force fields right there, slowing this down, but there's no splash damage on the horizon either, right? So we're just trying to, well, deal with this. I mean, unless the High Templar somehow, some way magically managed to get Storm here. But yeah, he needs to deal with this just using Stalkers and Zealots, and he just doesn't have enough.
No, the numbers are there for Maru. He played a fantastic early game defense. The command center on the high ground, the Widow Mine well placed, shutting it down. And of course, herO's follow-up blink attack did not find the mark. He revealed it too early. Maru shuts it down and just runs away to a 2-0 lead in this series.
Yeah, that's the Maru we all come to expect, right? Making those decisions that just are, well, in hindsight, perfect, but while you're playing the game, you're like, ooh, is this really what I should be doing here? Chasing all of those units brilliantly. I mean, the early game looked a little scary, but when he got that hit on the Oracle, well, it seemed like he was winning the game ever since.
Yeah, that's a massive one. Losing your early Oracle, it's bad normally, but in this sort of game, it's even worse. And when this Stalker attack didn't really get much damage, he was done from there. The Blink Stalker harass did a little bit of damage, but he was so far behind. Like, the numbers were just insane. So shout out to Maru for playing so safe. And remember, the previous game as well, he played relatively safe. It was a double gas opening with like a very quick factory, and then he went into third command center double engineering. I really feel like Maru is playing a certain gear. The problem is now that he's up 2-0, Maru probably can do anything. He doesn't mind taking some risks, and it's herO who's going to have to switch gears to try and be greedier to take advantage of Maru. That opens up a huge window for Maru to be the aggressor, Maru to do some one-base armory, Widow Mine drops, do some really quick 2-base, 3-racks pushes. All these sorts of things are available to him. herO needs to play a perfect series for 3 games in a row.
Yeah, Maru has a wide range of strategies that he can play, right? He can basically play it all. I mean, he came up with half of the strategies himself, and he clearly went into the series assuming his opponent would be the aggressor, and so far he has been right. Just simply defending, or, well, maybe not simply, but defending what the opponent has been going for has been exactly what he needs to do. And, well, game number 3, we're already on match point right here for our red Terran player. From South Korea, we have Maru.
And in the top left side, representing Dragons, Kaisian Gaming, it's herO.
Very
Still sad the Phoenix didn't make the cut for that team.
Yeah, that was kind of cute. I do really like how the Phoenix lifted up the siege tank, though, to save a couple of those Stalkers. In the end, it didn't really matter, but that was a cute little move right there by herO.
Indeed, very nicely done. Now, interesting that he goes for the crazy early probe scout again, herO. I mean, he's very good at harassing with it, but I was thinking here, you're in a bad spot. It might be time to just skip the scout entirely, play very greedy, get a Nexus before a Cybercore, even on a bigger map like Gresvan, and see what you can do from there. Probe is circling, SCV forced off duty to chase it, of course, make sure he doesn't get up to no good, and he's just harassing those minerals as much as he can. By the way, it is only 1 gas for Maru, so it looks like an expansion build. I do like to see Maru mixing it up between these styles, and I'm curious to see what herO's change of gear is. Marine first once again.
Yeah, to be fair, though, if you think about the mistakes that herO has made so far in this series, right? So first off, in the first game, he got a little over-eager, but initially his game went really quite well. And in the second game, it spiraled honestly out of control with the very first Oracle going down, right? That just made it all a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. The mistakes are relatively easy to fix right here for herO. Simply don't make those mistakes again, right? So he's probably just not happy with the way that the series has been going. And I think in his mind, he just needs to play the same game, but better. And I think that's probably what he's going to attempt and do in this game. Not really mix it up all too much. Just try and, execute the strategies you've had planned in advance as perfectly as you possibly can. That's how we know herO, though, right? Like, he popularized, and that's a little mistake already over there, saturating 4 out of 3 in gas. But that's how we know herO. Just, playing those incredibly clean strategies and really popularizing aggression once again.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a real trailblazer in that regard, and I want to see what he can bring out. Looking at this, I mean, Maru didn't scout this game. He's just playing so overly safe with the command center on the high ground as well. So I feel like it's the perfect opportunity for herO to start being a bit greedier in this series. Like, to me, his field feels almost a little clunky with how overly defensive Maru's been playing, because it's not just this series, it's their last big finals as well. And that's why I'm like, man, he's right for some very greedy corner cutting Protoss, you know. Get on up that tech tree, herO, probe. And he's going straight blink this time off the one gate. I'm curious, 2 more gateways go down. I was going to say I'm curious if he's going to go for the Storm again, the quick Psy Storm, but doesn't look like it. This looks like a straight up blink play. Robo will go down as well. And Cloaked Banshee from Maru. So it's a rematch of game 1 so far.
Yeah, no, exactly. If we're going to see an Observer first again for herO, it should be a pretty good start for him. But you brought it up in game number 1 as well. Sometimes the Twilight Council can make things, or sorry, the Twilight Council, the Warp Prism can make things a little bit more complex. Excellent scout right here, though, by our Terran player. Trying to do a little bit of damage. That Hellion is not going to survive it, but he saw everything he needed to see. He knows exactly what he's playing against.
Indeed, 3rd and 4th gas is now on the way for herO. He's going to be teching up very hard. And Maru starting to add his extra barracks in the main base, I believe. Oh, a depot.
It's a depot, yeah. It really did look like it was making itself up for a barracks, though.
I'm like, is that even a good depot placement? I don't know, because like sometimes there's these like genius depots in between your production. So when there's zealots getting warped into your main, you create a choke point, and then you can even raise the depot in between the barracks, like, which is super cool. So we'll see if he utilizes that later on. A mainstay of this matchup. Banshees went into fast 3rd command center in the last game. And this time, herO not going Storm. He's going to go for the Robo Bay.
So there is an Observer out. That Banshee is also coming across the map right now. herO doesn't really know exactly what he is playing against, but he's already prepared, right? He is waiting right there with Stalkers on the perimeter, warping a couple in the natural as well. We will have the cloaking upgrade right here for herO, or sorry, for Maru, so... Observer.
Oh, the Observer's on... But he didn't see the starport. And yet herO's keeping an Observer in the middle. He's playing so safe. What a read.
Yeah,
Maru must be doing...
played against him so much, right? He must know exactly what Maru likes to do right now.
Yeah, like it must be a repeating pattern. That's what's so fascinating, because like Cloaked Banshees is meant to be a surprise sneaky play. And yet Maru apparently is like, no. I'm just going to keep doing this, because I know he did this at least one game in the previous series, but Maru, yeah, really mixing this in a lot. The 2 Banshees pair up. I feel like if this is expected, it's not a good play. Like in terms of predictability, remember yesterday, Maru threw out some really weird, wacky builds.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were insane.
He went 3-port speed Banshee yesterday. It was insane. It was. It wasn't good. It didn't look good. Maybe it's good in practice, but we'll see. The Stalker's coming in right now. They're going to pick off just 2 SCVs. The Warp Prism will rotate around the back, but he's got to focus at home. Those probes need to get out of there. The Banshees.
Yeah, he had an Observer right there. Okay, it was sieged up. He saw these units coming in from a mile away, but he must have been preoccupied with the Stalkers on the other side of the map. That is now allowing a lot more damage than these Banshees were ever supposed to deal. He's going to sec them as well, just maximize the damage. 16 probes in total. I mean, that certainly justifies going for the 2 Cloaked Banshees in the earlier stages of the game. They're not going to help out much in the base defense anyways. It's just maximizing the damage while going for a 3rd CC. Dharma missiling his own units. I don't think that's ideal, but everything else has been going really cleanly right here.
Doritos for the boys. Everyone just shakes a bag of Doritos all over those guys.
Celebratory Doritos. Well, maybe you can get a supply depot over here. That's nice, but...
herO's got to be tilted. It's so frustrating, because the thing is, he literally blind prepared for this build.
Yeah.
And then he just assumed it wasn't happening because it was too late, got distracted at the crucial time, and oh my God. Wow, that's wow.
Yeah, that is too many units going down.
That was yeah. herO's looking desperate. He's looking really desperate. And I understand he was in a bad spot after losing those probes, but that was a disaster. That was a big disaster. The Colossus drop finds a bunch of SCVs, not bad. But, that's a 3cc Terran. I feel like this is the sort of game where you should just be out. You're dead as the Protoss. It's herO, though. So I actually give him a decent chance of finding a way to drag this game out and come back at it. With a Raven to counter the Colossus, that will be tricky, having lost almost all of his Blink Stalkers. It's all...
Okay. You know, I think you're very right, man. Like, he essentially read Maru without Maru showing much of his build order at all, right? Like, he had all of the tools at his disposal to clean up those cloak banshees. He even had the units in the right position at the right time. He was just preoccupied microing on the other side of the map. He had the observer, he had the stalkers in the main base. They were on the perimeter, but the observer was sieged up. But if he would have unsieged it as soon as those banshees came into vision, he would have cleaned that up, and he probably would have lost like 2 probes rather than 16, right? And that makes this game incredibly desperate. Maru right now securing his own 3rd base. He doesn't really need to take chances, but you know what? He's got a banger of an army. He's got some solid upgrades. May as well give it a try.
Double the army supply for Maru as he moves across the map. 5 Marauders, 4 tanks, 37 Marines, a Raven, and a pair of medevacs. On the other side, 2 Colossus, 3 Sentries, 5 unupgraded Zealots, 3 Stalkers, an Adept, and of course, 1 Disruptor. That 1 Disruptor has the weight of the world on its shoulders. It needs to land the Purification Nova to purify every single Terran unit, because there is just not enough here. 2 Vikings in the sky, even causing a problem for the Colossus. The bio stimming and spreading in the tanks, zoning him out of his own natural expand. herO blinks forward, but there's as many siege tanks as there are stalkers, and that's never a good situation for the Protoss. A devastating, smashing victory. And apparently Maru, playing some weird sloppy builds yesterday, has come back and today has said, no, I am going to show you what I'm made of. I'm qualifying for Gamers 8.
Yeah, brilliant series right here by our Terran player. Maybe herO is considered to be the best Protoss player in the world, and maybe he won last week when these two faced off against each other in another tournament. But today, Maru is looking miles ahead of his opponent right now. I mean, there's 1 Colossus and a Prism and a Dream, but you're gonna need a whole lot more to take all of this down. I mean, he can continue fighting, right? A couple Zealots here forcing this Terran army to retreat, but there's gonna be so much more where that Terran army came from, and the reinforcements have already arrived in the middle of the map.
Zealots do get pushed back there. herO trying to scramble around, seeing what he can do. The 1 Disruptor, wouldn't be surprised if he loads that in the Warp Prism, looks for a creative angle, but no, it's going to be a Zealot drop attempt in towards the main base. Maru has a fully saturated 3rd base behind this, up against basically 2 bases that are mining, no 3rd, the natural is gone. Stalkers blink forward, looking for a snipe on the Raven. They get a Viking. 2 Stalkers pay the price for that. The siege tanks are deep in position, and Maru's just making this look easy.
He's gonna need the disruptor hit of a lifetime right here, but Maru already sort of pre-splitting his army rather as well. Siege tanks right now inching closer. The Templar archives will end up going down, and look at the amount of tanks available. I mean, there is a disruptor, there it goes, but he's been building up to that disruptor hit for 30 seconds, and it got a whole lot of nothing. Even the second one got sniped right there before the connection, and GG is called. Maru with a quick 3-0 victory over herO.
Very few people are able to do that. herO is known as the best Protoss player in the world for a reason. However, when you have such a dynamic style, sometimes it is a little hit or miss, and that overextension chasing into the natural. I think the moment those Stalkers blinked into the natural siege tanks in game 1, we knew that we were seeing a highly aggressive herO. A herO that was not going to be able to contain that aggressive desire, but a fantastic way to get it going. What did you guys think over on the desk?
Well, we went from what amazing series to, oh boy, was Ben wrong, because he was really looking forward to this one. How do you feel after that series, Ben?
You know, it makes me think even more that Maru was kind of, you know, he was willing to lose that series the other day against Solar, because I was like, man, you have to be real damn confident to kind of, I'm going to use the word throw or flob about in that series.
Flob
when
about?
When you've got herO waiting for you in the lower bracket, because yeah, but he just looked a different level than herO, which is so freaking weird to say, because they've played like series for let's say the last year where they've been really damn close, and they've also been kind of back and forth as well, but this just wasn't back and forth whatsoever.
No, it was not. It was full steam ahead for Maru Wardy. This was, I mean, yeah, some cute moves here and there by herO, but everything went Maru's way, it felt like, in this series.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those series where sometimes what herO does just doesn't really stick, right? And it really didn't here. It was very one-sided, I would say. And just sometimes being a bit too aggressive, a bit too funky even, and Maru just very solid in this series, not letting any of those things of herO get under his skin or anything, and just putting himself into phenomenal positions from the early game, and then obviously from there on out it just panned out very easily into Maru's favor. I don't think there's really that much to say, right? Like, Maru just played a very good series. He looked absolutely dominant here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he even missiled his own units in this game and still was totally fine. I don't think I've ever seen that, but there you go. As we look at the
board.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
Nothing was actually happening too. That makes it even funnier. I was like, "What? Did you just see that?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "He just anti-missiled himself," and like, just nothing was happening. And it's just like, what's going on? But no, I mean, it was more than enough. When it really mattered, Maru was doing all the right things. I think his build choices were cool too. Like pulling out this Cloak Banshee today was a really nice choice, because it's not often you get like 16, 17 probe kills or whatever it was. But yeah, he just bopped herO, man. And he made it look easy.
Yeah, he's loving Banshees lately. Across all of these matchups, he's loving it. But you know what? If it works here, it works here. So that is good stuff. 3-0 for Maru here. And those were the highlights brought to you by Aramco for that match. Now let's take a look at what we have confirmed. I mentioned at the start of the series, are we eliminating and purifying the galaxy of Protoss? And it seems like the answer is yes at the moment, Wardy. It's not been the best of times for them, with Maru making it happen down in the bottom.
It has not been the best of Protoss times, but you know what? There's always weekend number 2. That's what stage 2 is for, you know? So those Protoss players get to come back and try again, and we even have an extra Protoss player next weekend as well in Korea, so I think that's going to be specifically quite fun. Hopefully we do see some Protoss players qualify. I know it would be kind of a shame not to see anyone, but I'm pretty confident we'll see herO at the very least get it done next week, and Korea looks so good this weekend too.
Yeah, you'd think so. Well, we'll see when we actually get to that weekend. For now, though, that's it for the Korean bracket for this weekend. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, we're getting 4 series from the EPT bracket. So join us after this for more Gamers Without Borders.